One of the first things people change when they get a Dyna, and rather probably a lot of almost any model bike, especially Harleys, the handlebars are one of the things that people change, and um, so one of the first things I changed. I'm really happy with these bars. I knew I wanted to go T-bars, and I knew I wanted to go narrow, and I looked at a lot of brands and looked at the widths, and it was really hard to find anybody that had bars that were like more narrow than 31, 32 inches. I really didn't understand that because I know a lot of these things come out of California and where lane splitting and everything is, you would think you'd want them as narrow as you could get, without going too crazy, but so finally, after looking at a lot of them, and I went online and read some forums and different things, Instagrams and blah blah blah. I finally settled on a pair of Lucky Daves out of California, and I forget the exact city. I'll post a link to Lucky Daves. And the one thing that I really liked about Lucky Daves is that they seem smallish, small business. But what I liked about them is that their online presence, when I responding to emails or contact forms, wasn't super good. It was all right. It took them a few days, maybe a week sometimes when I first started contacting them. And we're all impatient these days. I'm no different. But when I called them, it was a little bit, they got an answering service type deal, third party probably more than anything. But anyway, you actually get Dave on the phone when you call, at least at this point in the business. You get Dave, and I was super impressed by that. He was a chill dude. We both talked, and talked a few times. I had some issues even after I got the bars, and we talked about it and everything was cool. And usually I probably would flip my lid because that's the kind of guy I am about some little issues. But talking to him, I believed what he had to say, and I still believe it. And I think these are some quality bars. And so after all that and talking to him, I ordered the Lucky Dave's Lucky 13 bars. Now, what I will say is I went with the 15-inch. I started to go with 13. They were back ordered, going to be a few weeks. Okay, not a big deal. I'm impatient, but I could live with it because everything was that I've read and reviews and everybody talking about, they were super awesome. And I knew these bars were the ones I was going to go with. So I went that route. So I was waiting and waiting. And I got the 13s ordered, and I knew it was going to be a little wait. So in the meantime, I'm used to having apes. Like on my Street Glide, I got like 14-inch apes. And I know they sit different on, say, a bike like a Dyna versus a Street Glide or a touring bike, the way where the bars mount and everything and the angles. But the best thing, like Dave told me this too, and I've heard this before, is to sit on your bike and maybe grab like a stick, a broomstick or something like that. Sit on your bike, close your eyes, and hold your arms out with your eyes closed where you feel comfortable. And so I did that and had somebody measure them from the up, and it was right about 16, 15 inches anyways. So I called Dave back again, got him on the phone and said, man, after thinking about it and remeasuring everything, I'm thinking I need to go with 15s. And that's what I went with. I'm really, really glad that I did, because actually the 13s probably would have been about maybe here, lower. So, 2.5, 3 inches anyway. But so I'm glad that I changed that up, and I've been really, really happy with these bars. Once I put the mid controls back on and got the fastback seat, all of it came together. My position, where I'm sitting, how far back, how far I have to lean forward or not lean forward or reach out. And I mean, it's like I'm sitting in a fucking Barco lounger, man. It's perfect for me. And I have a long torso and short legs, and I have some weirdly long arms for a guy my height. I'm only 5'8", but I have like almost 5'10" arm span, which is weird. But for me, they are perfect. Exactly where I need to be. Puts me in the saddle where I need to be. My legs are stretched out or bent where they need to be. So it's like sitting in a chair at home to me, and it was really worked out and really was cool. Now that's the goods about the bars and everything. Now the bad part is not anything about the bars. And by the way, these are the Lucky 13s. They go up and then they pull back. The San Diego bars I think are just straight, and then the MX style at the top. So you kind of have to decide what's best for you. But I love the pullback. Not sure how they're going to be for wheelies or anything, but they might be too high, but I don't think so. But anyway, the negatives experience about this is that the bottom of the bar where you mount into the tree and you put the bolt in to put them into the bushings needed to be deburred and cleaned up a little bit. The welds were a little, the welds themselves are good, but the threads kept wanting to cross thread. So when I got it to the dealer, I let them know that. They went in and deburred it and cleaned it up, and they went on with no problems. That was the only setback. Minor. As long as you knew about it, then it shouldn't be a thing. And if you take it to a good mechanic who knows what the fuck they're doing, or even a dealership that might know what they're doing, that was not really a big deal. So other than that, the bars are really good, well made. What I will say, and this is on me because I am not a mechanic, and I have wired regular ape hangers before, and I attempted to do these. I tell you what, honestly, my buddies and I, we set them up, we did them externally, and it was okay because I just wanted to ride with them. And then I got kind of antsy and decided, well, fuck, I can do this. And took them off, took everything down, and then started to try to do internally. Big mistake. Because evidently I'm not even close to the mechanical guru as I was. Depinning them was easy because the module on the 07s, which this is, are too big to go through the hole of the bars and through the width of the bars. So it's not like the newer ones where it may go through. So that was a downside. What I didn't know when I went from 13 up to 15s and decided that anything above the 13s, you've got to change out your cables. So that was another $350 I had to get all new cables. So just be aware of that if you go above 13s. The stock Street Bob cables will not work. And the clutch is very, very close, but you still have to get a new one because otherwise it's going to be pulling and it's going to fuck it up over time of doing that. So you might as well know that you're going to have to get all new cables for that kind of deal. So other than those minor things and the fact that I couldn't get them to come through the bars, and it is difficult because, once you pull the wires, you get to this bend, and then you get to this bend, which is almost a 90. Then you got the little curve of the MX. It's a pain in the ass. So unless you really know what you're doing, I would advise that you find somebody who knows how to wire the bars and knows the trick. Again, that's not anything on the bars. That's totally my doing and my lack of knowledge and skill. So I won't even put a negative rating on anything about these bars. These bars they're the shit, man. I'm telling you, they're a little pricey, but you get what you pay for. It's thick. I think it's 1.25 inch bars, the diameter, which they taper down to the 1 inch, so you can put on stock Harley grips, which is what I did, and all the housings fit and yada yada blah blah blah. So I'm really happy with them. Lucky Dave's makes a good product. Their customer service is fucking good. Again, I was totally impressed that I actually talked to Dave and not some minimum wage shop flunky or some guy in training or intern. I was really impressed that Dave actually took my calls. He actually called me back. The owner himself was the one who I dealt with, and that was, to me, that's cool. And that's a big plus, especially being a small business owner. So if you are in the market for bars, or you're looking for T-bars or the MX style bars, and you don't want to go with the risers and the clamp, and you don't want to do with that, the all-in-one, these Lucky Daves are awesome. They do have that style if you want to do that style, but I think these and probably the San Diegos are probably their most popular. I don't think you'll be unhappy with them. So, again, I can't do anything but recommend Lucky Dave's. They're fucking stellar bars. They're hot right now, so I don't know if you'll have them in stock, but they're worth the wait. I can guarantee you that. So I'm real happy with that. So that's about it. We'll talk about some more stuff I've added on into some videos coming up.